Make farmers happen in 2024. Bring back sexy farmers. That's what I want to see. Oh, hello everyone. So this is going to be my January reading wrap up. In the month of January, I read how many? 14 books. And this month of reading was actually really fun. It's so funny. January, they were not lying when they say that January is literally the longest month of the year, because January truly felt like it never ended and so much stuff happened in January. But like I said, it was a long month, but it was a really good month of reading. I feel like I read so many bangers. I read a couple like new to me authors. Actually, I feel like a whole bunch of new to me authors. I read some books from, some of my all-time favorite authors, and it was just such a good mix, and also a good mix of genres in here as well. So I'm really excited to talk to you guys about them all. I'm gonna go in no particular order. Actually, I'm just gonna do the ones that I found the physical copies of, if I had a physical copy of it first, and then we'll do the remaining books. So right on top, I actually read this early in the month. We have the book Dare Me by Summer O'Toole. This is the fourth book, yes, in her, it's called Fox Family series. It's a mafia series that follows brothers. So technically each book can be read as a standalone, but I do think it's more fun to read them in order. First book is Make Me, then it's Hate Me, then it's Keep Me, and then the final book was Dare Me. Summer even said at the start of the book that she wanted this book to be a little bit lighter in tone than the other ones. Even though it is a mafia book, there's still, that mafia, violence and action and stuff. It is like, I guess, a smidge more on the lighter side than the other ones, but I would still, I guess, classify this as like a dark romance. I love this whole series so much. This book follows Lachlan and Stella, and this is actually really fun because it is like a forced proximity element, but they are on like an island. So basically, Stella actually does work for the Fox family, and Lachlan is trying to prove himself in the family because he's the youngest brother. And it's actually an age gap where Stella's a little bit older than Lachlan. They have a one-night stand. It was really steamy, and they just can't stop thinking about each other. They're obsessed with each other, but of course it takes them a while to finally get together. But this book was so hot and fun. I'm obsessed with this. I'm obsessed with this series because these books flow so nicely. I finished these books so quickly. I've been arc reading them since book 2. And I just really love this series. I think that it's so underrated. If you like mafia books, you must add these to your TBR. I love them so much. This next book, people, I am obsessed with. It's so funny. I own not one, but 2 copies of this book already. Both of those versions are special editions, and I actually listened to this book on audio. I will say right off the bat, it is one of the best audiobooks I've ever listened to, so I actually highly encourage you listen to it on audio. And that book is In a Jam by Kate Canterbury. This is my first book from Kate. And this is a book that I know so many people are obsessed with. And I must say, when I talked about this book on Instagram and TikTok, I have never received so many messages, so many comments of people being like, I love this book. I love this book. This book is one of my all-time favorites, etc., etc. Like, the response for this book was overwhelmingly positive. I haven't seen a bad comment about this book, and honestly, for good reason. Like, I completely understand. This book follows Noah and Shay is kind of, left at the altar. She doesn't go through with a wedding that she really planned, so she ends up going back to her small town where her family tulip farm is. And it's one of those situations where her deceased grandma is like, oh, you can't get the farm unless you marry someone. So this book does turn into a marriage of convenience at one point, but even though, let me tell you, this book is long, I still loved every moment. So Noah and Shay also know each other from like childhood, so they have a connection there. Noah is the guardian to his niece, so he's kind of like, a single father situation. The niece is so funny. What is her name? Like Jessie? I'm blanking right now, but it's fine. This book was just so cute and charming. Like, right off the bat, I was like, oh, I love this book. I'm completely invested, and it didn't stop. Like, this book is also quite wholesome, but at the same time, like, don't worry, there's spice in here. And boy, this man, this man. This book is literally perfect. Such an easy 5 stars. Such an easy 5 stars. You don't even understand. A bajillion stars. I just love this book so much. It was just too good. It was too good, people, and you have to check it out for yourself. If you love small town romances, honestly, if you love small town romance in general, why wouldn't you pick this up? There's farm animals like goats and cows. And again, they literally make jam, and it's so good. This book is just delightful, and you must pick it up. Switching gears to more of a paranormal book. Well, actually, it is a paranormal romance. We have Twilight of Embers by Tessa Hale. I did receive the audiobook arc of this, and let me tell you, the audiobook was a banger because it had so many guys on it. It was the one female narrator whose name I can't remember, and then a whole bunch of favorites like Jason Clarke, Teddy Hamilton. I'm pretty sure Joe Arden. It's either like Jacob Morgan or Joe Arden. I'm so sorry, I'm blanking. And others, because this is a Why Choose Dragon Shifter romance. This is the newest book in Tessa's new series, so it does end up on a cliffhanger. As an FYI, the new book is coming out sometime soon, and I really love Tessa's paranormal romances because they're so quick and easy to listen to. Like, truly, I really like that she doesn't drag these stories out for longer than she has to, and there's really fun spice in here. If you love like overprotective men, you're gonna eat this up. I personally just had so much fun with it, and she sent this beautiful PR package with this, I guess it's a PR package edition, and it's just so stunning. I need to remember to sign up for the ARC for book 2, but yeah, I'm not the biggest paranormal romance person, but I have read now 2 series from Tessa, and I really enjoy them. Another book that is my entire personality, and I'm still obsessed with it, and honestly, if I could reread it right now, I would. 5 million bajillion stars. We have Don't Want You Like a Best Friend by, what is the author? Emma R. Albin. I just, look at that. Is that a sensational cover? It's a sensational cover. And yes, the title is a play on a Taylor Swift song. This book is perfect. It's a sapphic historical romance. The audiobook was really great because even though it was 2 female narrators, you know, for the different points of view with accents, I do think they sounded different enough where I didn't get confused. And another book where right off the bat, I was like, oh, I'm charmed. I love it. And it's funny because they actually, our main girls, want to parent trap their parents because the one girl has a single dad, other girl has a single mom, and the parents have history with each other. So they're trying to get the parents together, and it's just like historical romance shenanigans, but you get this really sweet and beautiful romance of these 2 girls who just want to be together, but obviously it is one of the situations where it is different times, so they can't just be together. This book does end up like they get their happily ever after, but it also sets up the second book, which follows another couple, which is going to be an MM book, and you will see how that gets again set up in this book. And it was just so interesting. I love these characters. I'm completely invested. I cannot wait for the sequel because, I mean, not only do we get to read about new characters, but I get to read about my babies again. Mwah. Oh, I am so excited to talk about this book. Next up, we have Swift and Saddled by Lila Sage. This book comes out in like 1 month, basically. It comes out in March, and I loved this book. I loved it too much. 5 million bajillion stars. I finished this arc in like 2 days when I was sick at the start of January, and let me tell you, that is unheard of for me to finish a book that fast, because now I feel like I'm a much slower Kindle reader, but no, I flew through this book. Wes and Ada are perfect. Wes is a cowboy. Like, I keep saying this, but like, he is cowboy. This Ken's job is cowboy. I read a lot of cowboy romances, and you get various levels of how, like, I don't know, like, cowboy the main guy is, but like, no, Wes works on that family ranch. He is the man. He is trying to renovate a piece of the ranch, and Ada comes in because someone in the family knows her and recommends her, and they end up working together on this project. And they have like one night they have like a steamy night at the opening of the book, and then it all goes from there. Wes is so just caring towards Ada, like a true man of action. And it's just so sweet. And I think Lila's writing is just getting better and better with each book. I truly loved them so much. I love Ada for like a black cat character. She's still so likable and relatable, and I loved them too much. Like, I'm just thinking about this book and I'm smiling and I'm giddy and I'm so happy and I'm so excited for you to read this. This is the follow-up to Done and Dusted. Would I technically read Done and Dusted first before this one? Yes. Can you read this as a standalone? Sure. But I just love this world of Rebel Blue Ranch and these characters so much, and I love Lila, and I'm so excited for this book to be out in the world. Then we have actually the first book that I read, well, actually, I listened to this month. That was The Kraken Sacrifice by Katie Robert. I am a little behind on this monster romance series from her, and I actually really loved the first book in this series, The Dragon's Bride, so much. And I mean, these books really do read as standalones. These characters are connected a little bit, like it's all in the same universe. Almost all of Katie Roberts' books take place in the same giant universe. But this book totally read as a standalone. And as you can see, you know, tentacles. Tentacles. What else is there to say aside from that? But really, this book was really hot. I will say I didn't like it as much as The Dragon's Bride. Like The Dragon's Bride, I gave 5 stars. This book, I'm pretty sure I landed at like a 4-star. But again, the audiobook was still really hot. I thought it was really cute. Like I liked the way I'm blanking on their names. Again, please forgive me. But the main guy was very like protective over the main girl. She gets kind of sold in an auction, because I think the point is that these girls that get put up for grabs are literally like girls with like really bad personal lives like in the real world, so they get put in this monster realm and then they get their like monster mates. First book again is a dragon, this book is a kraken, and then there's fun stuff like underwater, and it's just a spicy good time. It's very quick. This series, like the books are very short, which I appreciate, and again, I liked it on audio. I love a Katie Robert book. It's always going to deliver on the spice, and I just thought this book was cute. It was good. Okay, then we have Bnic Energy by Morgan Elizabeth. I started this book in December, as this book is a Christmas book, but my favorite thing about Morgan Elizabeth Christmas books is they don't pull like aggressively Christmas. So like, I feel like if you read this book any time of year, you'll have fun with it. This is her Cowboy Christmas book. This book was actually so stinking cute. I couldn't really stand it. It was precious. Our man Nick is the perfect man. Morgan like really snapped writing this man, because the way he cared about our main girl so much was insane. Again, she's a single mother to 2 daughters. It's funny because she ends up like meeting his son first, and then she goes to like the family ranch for a Thanksgiving, and Nick again is just charmed by her and his daughters, and he's like, oh no, this woman is gonna be mine. And it's just cute Christmas stuff. He helps her with like an elf on the shelf, and they do spend a lot of time together since like that Thanksgiving on, which I really thought made their relationship seem very believable, because again, they spent a lot of time together. The main woman has like a very annoying ex-husband, and this book was just precious. Like it was very, very cute. Like truly the cutest little book. I listened to this book as an audio arc, but it is out into the world right now, and that was Thoroughly Pucked by Lauren Blakely. This was my first Lauren Blakely book. This is the 3rd book, I want to say, in her hockey romance series, where the books are one girl with 2 guys. So it's a why choose situation. They're not all in the relationship together. Again, it's the one girl, and you know, it's a why choose between the 2 guys. So you know, she gets the 2-for-1 special. Good for her. This book is a runaway bride situation, which I really loved. Like the start of the book is the 2 guys, because they're her brother's good friends. So it's them, like they help her flee her wedding. And I think runaway bride is such an underrated trope, and I really want to read even more of them in this year, because I really love that trope. This book was very fun. It was very hot. It was a quick listen as well, which I appreciated. The audiobook was duet style narration, so that was very fun. Jason Clarke is on the track. I think the other narrator is Teddy Hamilton, or maybe it's not. If I'm wrong, I'm so sorry. Either way, it was very, very, very fun. Like I was listening to this book at work and I was like, oh, it's a little hot. It's a little hot in here. Okay, another audiobook arc that I had. Again, the book is out now. We have One Night by Lena Hendricks. This is book 4 in her Sullivan family series, and this book is a surprise pregnancy. And I actually love surprise pregnancy in books because I love babies, and I actually like when the female main character is pregnant. I said what I said. I just think I love the way like the man gets like protective over her and like cares for her. And this book is kind of like Lena calls it like Romeo and Juliet inspired, because it's the Sullivan family and the King family. They're rival families in the town. This first series is the Sullivan family. Next series is going to be the King family. But all of the characters are set up. Again, it's a whole connected world. Can you read one night as a standalone? Yes, but again, it's more fun to read the series in order. The audiobooks for this series are very well done as well, and I just liked the forbidden romance between the two main characters, and I love that the main guy is a grumpy farmer. Like, we don't have enough farmer books, and I have said this. Well, it's not that we don't have enough farmer books. We don't have enough like mainstream farmer books that are like popping off right now. You know what I mean? And I've said this multiple times. I love when that man is a farmer. Like, obviously we know cowboys, I'm cowboys. But when the man is a farmer, I also love it just as much. So I'm trying to make farmers happen in 2024. Make farmers happen in 2024. Bring back sexy farmers. That's what I want to see. I'm pretty positive I gave this book 4 stars too. 4 stars or 4.5 stars. It was my favorite in the series and I really, really loved it. Or did I even give this book 5 stars? I don't remember. Don't ask me. Go to my Goodreads. Actually, a book that I know I gave 5 stars because I'm truly so obsessed with it. At least I'm pretty sure I gave it 5 stars. If not, I better go switch it to 5 stars because this book is kind of my Roman Empire and I can't stop thinking about it. We have Titan by Gillian Graves. You would never guess. It's a monster romance. He's a gargoyle. It's a daddy dom, like gargoyle romance. And you know what? This book was so hot. I loved it. I could not stop thinking about this book for days after I finished it. I listened to the audiobook on Hoopla. It was my first book by Gillian Graves. I loved it. I cannot wait to read more from her. I just thought this book was everything it had to be. Again, it was so hot. The main guy was just, he spoiled her, and the girl knew. She would be like, yeah, you can spend your money on me. Buy me some Louboutins. They run small, so get me a size 9. I was living. I loved their dynamic, and I actually really am excited for book 2, which follows another, monster that was in this book, and I'm waiting for it to come out. I think Jillian is still like working on it and everything, but I loved it. I really had too much fun with this book. It was so, so fun. Another audiobook that I listened to that was a really great audiobook. It was so well done. It was duet style narration. We Have 5 Rounds by Nikki Castle. This is my first time reading or listening to a Nikki Castle book. This is her fighter romance. So the main guy is a fighter. The girl, like, it's a whole series of people who are connected because like they work at this gym, work out at this gym, are connected to people at this gym, like they all train together and stuff. And the main girl in this book actually fights as well. She's not like on the professional level that the main guy is, but she does like do it. Like, I don't know if she does like jujitsu or like some kind of fighting like that. So that was really fun. Like there was literally a scene of them like fighting each other. This book is an enemies to lovers, forced proximity situation. And let me tell you, this book was very hot. It was very hot. Like Nikki Castle spice, she really got me there. That spice was spicing. This wasn't my favorite book ever. I landed at a 4 star, but like I said, the audiobook was very well done. And the thing that this book really did the best was set up the other characters in this world. Like, I am so excited to read book 2. There's another character whose book I really want to read. So like, I'm invested in this world. I would definitely read more from Nikki Castle. This couple, I think they just weren't my absolute favorite. Both of them kind of had their moments of being a little bit annoying, but they did have like kind of fun banter with each other back and forth. I would definitely call this like a true enemies to lovers. I like the forced proximity element of them having to be roommates for a little bit. I just know that a different book in this series is going to be 5 stars for me. I feel it in my bones. We will see if I'm right. But for my first time reading this author, I definitely enjoyed this book a lot, and I would be reading more from her. Okay, now should we talk about the Splatterpunk? Should we completely switch gears? Every single book that I've talked about so far is a romance book. This book is not. It sure is not. This book is a little hard to talk about because I just don't know, who this book is for, but this book was definitely for me. I was feeling frisky one night, truly one night at like, I don't know, 11 o'clock, 10 p.m. I was like, I kind of want to read one of those splatterpunk horror books, extreme horror books, because I actually have been having fun on horror TikTok. I love horror TikTok. For someone who doesn't watch scary movies or really like knows too much about horror, I think it's fun to be on other sides of TikTok. But I kept seeing this author going around called Aaron Beauregard, and he apparently writes, everyone was talking about how nasty and gross and how like wild his books are. And I was like, okay, one of my favorite books of all time is The Skeleton King by Charity B. And that book is gross. That book is gnarly. That book is a true romance book, but it's very, very dark and disturbing and taboo and has a whole bunch in it that is just like, no. But I personally am obsessed with that book. I love that book so much. It's a perfect book to me. So I was like, if I can read that book no problem, and that book's one of my favorite books of all time, I can really test my limits and read a Splatterpunk book. So Splatterpunk is extreme gore and just like horror and just taboo and grossness. Like, you do not read these books for anything except to be grossed out and read about a whole bunch of people getting unalived in very over the top ways. Like, my favorite thing about this book, because I actually rated this book 4 stars and I really enjoyed it, and especially the more I sit on it, the more I really had a good time with it. In the moment, I was like, okay, it started off really fun. Then there was a chunk in there in the middle that was really gross. Things I had to skip through a little bit. Like, I really was like skimming with my eyes because I was like, no, 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 Erin, why? Erin, why would you write this? And then it ended on a fun note again. And it's definitely disgusting. And I totally just realized I haven't even said the title of the book yet. It's called Wedding Day Massacre. You can only imagine what happens. It's literally about this guy who turns out to be a psycho. And the thing is, he's marrying a girl who's like a psychopath, like a sociopath. She has like no emotions. And he sabotages their wedding day. And again, you would never guess what happens. You're at this wedding. R.I.P. Been fun to know you. Goodbye. I don't recommend this book to anyone who isn't a fan of blood and guts and extreme horror. I wouldn't expect anything else from this book except that. I'm just proud of myself because I think I did a good job researching Erin's titles and picking a really good one as my first Splatterpunk book because I just liked the premise. I love books that have to do with marriage, weddings, people who are getting married, even if it's something like this where everyone... I just thought it was fun. I have a soft spot for it. I love the cover. Erin is also such a lovely guy. He's so nice. I know actually I have a couple mutuals who have read his books and they love him and everyone talks about how nice he is and just, you know, I don't think I'm in any sort of rush to, you know, read a Splatterpunk book like right now again, but I would definitely dabble more into the extreme horror Splatterpunk down the road because I've realized I can stomach it to a certain degree. And I'm very proud of myself for stepping out of my comfort zone because I really had such a good time. Again, just because I had a good time doesn't mean you'll have a good time. If you want to read any kind of book like this, please, please do your research. I finally read my first Julie Olivia book, which is All Downhill With You, which is the first book in her series that she has that follows people who are all connected because they're all in this small town and like work at this theme park. And this first book was an enemies to lovers story about the main girl. Again, I don't remember people's names. The main girl works at the park, but she also is involved in a lawsuit with the park because she was riding one of the rides and one of the rides malfunctioned and she was in like a little bit of an accident. So that's scary, but you know, she's fine. I feel like that sounds so scary to say like she was in an accident at the theme park. I mean, she does have, I think both characters in this book, I want to say both of them have a disability. And there's very good disability rep in this book. If not both of them, one of them for sure, like the main girl does. I think she has some pain. And the way both of the characters end up being there for each other and help each other work through what they're going through was really beautiful. But this book is a little bit of an enemies to lovers at the start because the main guy is actually someone who is involved in the lawsuit because he works for the engineering company or whatever, the company that built the ride. So that's why they are connected, okay? She works at the theme park. She loves the park so much and everything. And he is part of, again, the company that helps design the rides. This book also, do not let the cover fool you. There was spice in here. And it was very good. And it was very hot. And this book was just quite charming. Another book that really sets itself up well for the rest of the series. And I'm very excited to read the other books in the series. Like I very, very much am. This is the only one that's available on audio right now. It's a 4-book series, I want to say. 4 or 5. But I would even read the second one like on my Kindle because I'm very excited for book 2. But I think if you're just a contemporary romance person, I think you would really love it. And the final book I have to talk about is exciting because it's a book by Catherine Cowles, and you would never guess who's going to be on my YouTube on February 9th for an author interview. It's Catherine Cowles. So you can go to my page and set the notification on our chat. Our chat is all set up and ready to go. So all you have to do is set a notification to get notified when we go live. A goal of mine was to read another one of her series before our chat, and I am currently now making my way through her, what is it called? Sutter Mountain? Sutter Mountain or Sutter Lake? Don't ask me. I don't remember. The first book was called Beautifully Broken Pieces, and again, it's Catherine Cowles, so it's going to be romantic suspense, and this book was great. I really had so much fun with this book. It is about a girl who moves to this town after her mother died, and obviously she's dealing with the grief of that loss, and then she just wants to get away from her life in LA, and she finds this town and she loves it, and you know, she ends up getting a job at like the local tea shop, and then of course she gets involved with the main guy's family, and she just ends up spending time with them. Our main guy, Walker, I think is like a sheriff in town. Probably. Catherine Cowles loves to write about a sheriff or a deputy or something like that. And then the suspense element in here is that there is like a murderer going around. There's a murder mystery, and that was really fun. The suspense in this book was fun. I will say I'm very proud of myself. This is the first time I figured out a Catherine Cowles plot twist. I just felt it. I'm like reading the book and I'm like, I think this is going to happen. And I was right. I think without a doubt, if you've read Catherine's other series like her Tattered and Torn and her Lost and Found, and you haven't explored her backlist yet, I think you will absolutely enjoy this book. If you are new to romantic suspense, I think Catherine is always a great author to start with because her books are fast-paced. They're very romantic, they're very sweet, they're charming. She writes characters so well. And again, another author where you get so invested in the characters and their families. And again, I was very excited to continue on in the series. I'm currently listening to book 2 and I'm having a great time. And yeah, if you need a small-time romance series to binge, here is another one. All right, so that was it. That was my January wrap-up. That was all of the books that I read / listened to in January. What books did you read in January that you loved? I would love to know. As always, you can follow all of my social medias linked down below, my TikTok, Instagram, I don't need Goodreads to keep up with me and what I'm reading in the moment down there. And yeah, if you like this video, please make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, share it. It means so much to me. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.